but how you see it as this kind of comprehensive basket. It's kind of New Deal-y where you're going with this. So you're going to go out there with your country. I mean, obviously, you've run your race, but as a collective party, are you worried that right now, we haven't measured since the Ukraine stuff. Really, we haven't measured since Rudy came on this show and really kind of escalated this whole process. But it was like 57-37 against impeachment. Are you worried that there are people in this country who are looking for new leadership and new ways and more decency and less disaffection, and that you're taking them down one of the darkest places you can go in politics? I'm not saying it's the wrong move, but are you worried about it hitting the wrong way with the people?
Well, I personally do not believe in fulfilling my obligations to my job based on polling data. I think we need to do our job. And we've been elected and sent here by the people of the United States of America to fulfill all of our obligations under the Constitution of the United States. When it does come to polling, all of this polling, much of these polling numbers came out before this
100% true.
Really shattering allegation.
True.
And so that polling data is not reflective of a shift that has united almost the entire Democratic caucus, plus an independent member that was forced to leave the Republican caucus because of the blatant ignoring of this law-breaking and rule-breaking behavior out of this administration. So I think the ground has shifted. I don't believe in making decisions based on polling. I believe in our ability to organize the public, to educate the public, to talk to the public about why not just we as members of Congress must impeach the president, but why all people in the United States of America must recognize and understand that we need to put our country first before our considerations of re-election. And that goes from members of Congress all the way up to the presidents of the United States.
All right, so I hear you on that issue. And as we get more meat on the bones of what's going on there, we'll invite you back to weigh in with the audience about what are the right moves and wrong moves and why. But this idea of a just society, okay, people should go look at your website. You got all the plans lined out. You guys are so locked up right now. You're passing lots of stuff in the House because you have the numbers. You get nothing done in Congress, in the Senate, until, frankly, 2 votes to get disclosure on this matter around Ukraine that came through. This is so ambitious. It's like the New Deal. People have to look at it themselves. You're attacking poverty. You want to create opportunity for people in different ways, and housing and economic guarantees of security and how to define it. Tell me about the ambition, but then answer for the obvious question, which is, how do you get any of this done?
Absolutely. Well, I think, when we talk about impeachment and when we talk about, small wins, this is what we need to do in the short term. But we need a plan for our country for the long term. And right now, I think that it's our responsibility to set that out, to set out a long-term vision, our benchmarks, and to say this is where we want to go as a nation. And we have to establish an advanced society here in the United States of America. What that means is that we have to push the bounds. We have to start treating housing as a right. We need to start protecting renters. We need to start updating the federal poverty line. Our calculation for the federal poverty line is based on 1955 spending habits that assumes one income earner, a stay-at-home mom, and that's why we don't talk about childcare. That's why we don't talk about geographic differences in cost of living. So we need to update our poverty line. We need to address the housing crisis in this country. We need to stop treating people who duly paid their debt to society, the formerly incarcerated, as outcasts for the rest of their lives. We need to become a modern society. We need to honor workers' rights, the right to unionize, the right to establish worker cooperatives, and we also need to join the international community by signing and ratifying the UN Convent on economic, social, and cultural rights. I mean, we need to catch up to the rest of the world, and then we need to lead the rest of the world, not just on climate change, but on social issues and on economic issues, so that we can actually act like a humanity that is existing in the 21st century.
Give me a quick take on the obvious pushback, which won't just be process. You guys can't get anything done right now. I accept it. You're saying it's theoretical. It's a plan for the future. The other one is, boy, Ocasio-Cortez, you can't reach in my pockets fast enough. You want to give something to everybody to get out of prison? You want to make it easy. They're here as an undocumented immigrant? Give them everything. Boy, oh boy, everybody wins except the hard-working man and woman in America just struggling to get by. You just want to help everybody else. What's the pushback?
I mean, what this all is us reaching into our pockets and deciding how we're already spending the money that we're already contributing to society. The problem is that America is at its wealthiest point that we've ever been, and yet we are at one of our most unequal points that we've ever been. You would not know that our country is posting record profits because 40 million Americans are living in poverty right now. And if the poverty line was real, if it was at around what some people think it should be, about $38,000 a year, we would be shocked at how much the richest society on the planet is allowing so much of its people to live in destitute. So we're not talking about paying for somebody else. We're talking about getting our own rent under control. We're talking about not getting fleeced by our own landlords.
Okay.
We're talking about making sure that food is on our kids' tables. So this is not about other people. This is about saying if you contribute to our society, you deserve to benefit from our society, not just corporations getting tax cuts and fossil fuel companies getting rewarded for their extraction and dooming future generations.
It is a very stark picture of the politics of contrast with what's being offered